One evening, Ryan laughed while speaking with one of the palace servants in the moonlit garden. The servant, a young shadow-born knight, bowed respectfully after making her smile. TAEHYUNG witnessed it from across the courtyard. The entire atmosphere shifted instantly. Darkness spread across the stone floor. The night faded. Within seconds, TAEHYUNG stood beside Ryan, enormous and silent. His silver gaze locked onto the servant. Leave. The poor knight nearly fled. Ryan blinked in surprise before turning towards him. You frightened him. He was staring at you. She stared for a moment, then suddenly laughed softly. Taeyong frowned. You find this amusing? A little. His expression darkened further. Ryan. But she stepped closer instead, eyes gleaming mischievously. You're jealous. I'm possessive. The bluntness of the answer sent heat rushing into her cheeks. Taeyong leaned closer slowly. And you encourage it. Maybe she did. Because instead of scolding him, she rose slightly onto her toes and kissed him beneath the black roses while shadows curled possessively around both of them. Weeks turned into months and slowly whispers spread throughout Noctix. The king had changed. The storms no longer destroyed entire villages. The cursed creatures had become calmer. Even the darkness itself seemed quieter. Whenever Vian walked through the palace, people began calling her Moon Queen. the only light the Shadow King would ever bow to. Then came the winter festival of Noctis, a rare celebration held beneath floating black lanterns and silver fire. That night, Vian wore a dark velvet gown threaded with moonstone crystals. Her silver hair flowed freely down her back while delicate black jewels rested against her throat, a gift from Taeyong himself. The entire palace watched them descend the grand staircase together, fearsome king and radiant fairy. Darkness and light intertwined, and the way Taeyong looked at her that night, it nearly unraveled her completely. Not with lust alone, but devotion, madness, love so consuming it bordered on worship. During the celebration, he barely let her stay far from him. One large hand remained against her waist constantly, shadows lingering at her feet like protective beads. At one point, she teased softly, "You look ready to start a war if anyone touches me." Without hesitation, he replied, "I would." The frightening thing was, she believed him completely and loved him for it anyway. Later that night, after the festival faded into silence, they stood alone at, atop the highest tower of the palace. Snow drifted slowly around them beneath the dark side of Noctis. Vian rested against him beneath his massive cloak while his arms surrounded her completely. "I never thought love could feel like this," she whispered. Taeyong lowered his head slightly. "And how does it feel?" She smiled faintly. "Like madness." Something vulnerable crossed his face then. "What if one day you regret choosing me?" Wyan turned within his arms immediately. You still don't understand, do you? Her fingers touched his cheeks gently. I crossed every boundary meant to keep us apart. Her voice softened. I chose you long ago. Taeyong closed his eyes briefly, overwhelmed by the sincerity in her voice. Then he held her tighter, as though he feared the universe itself might steal her away. Months later, strange things began happening inside the palace. To be continued.